Welcome to our Rolls Restoration. Today I got the Rolling Thunder Part 2 video. Gotta do some wheel post repairs. Comment on the Rolling Thunder in the general. So I have some of the broken pieces, but I don't have others. First I'll put the plastic weld on the brake. That's the piece. Hold that together, let it set up. Put pressure on the end. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and glue the rest of these posts on. Then I'm going to use steel stick down in the groove, steel stick around the edges, build those up. So I'm going to go ahead and glue the rest of these on that I have. Fortunately I don't have them all. If I could repair it. The other Rolling Thunder I did, I had all the broken pieces. So I already know this fix works on this part of it. But the pieces I don't have, that fix is completely outside the box here. Terrible design. Something this big, like this, the Defiant crawler, the General. They should have put a beefier design on. I'm sure it was fine when this plastic was new. Down there. I believe this is the piece from back here. Yep. At least this works well with the plastic weld. It's kind of a styrene type plastic. If I didn't have to put the wheels on, it'd be a great repair, but when you put the wheels on, they snap. So that's where I'll fill that in with the steel stick. There's that one, that one. This one's 100% broken off. This one I only have one of the posts, so what I'm going to try to do here is I got some 1/2 inch PVC. If you take the wheels, they just fit on the 1/2 inch PVC. So it's almost too tight, so I'd have to sand that down. But what I plan on doing is making a half post for this side and then a full one here. I'm going to drill in. I'm going to drill in because there's a hole back here. I'm going to make that stick through. Playing with it too soon. Re-glue this back on. Let it set up. I'll still stick it before I ever attempt to do the rest of this. Alright, want to apologize. I did not tape this process. There was so much trial and error going on. I had to figure it out. So if I would have taped it, it would have been hours and hours of fails, almost theirs, and then finally the finished product. So what we have here is we have a PVC pipe. So I used a piece of 1/2 inch, and then I measured it to according length, cut it to length, split it down the middle, And then I marked where the little kickouts are. Marked it with a Sharpie. Marked the other end where it should be, and then I took a Dremel with a drum sander and sanded the thickness down, because if I take this wheel here, it's a broken wheel I'm not going to use, but it's there. And I put it on, it almost fits on there all the way, but it's kind of tight. So you needed to sand it down, but you needed that little lip. So if I push that on now, you can actually hear it pop on, and it holds. So that side, I just didn't have that side tab. So I just needed that side tab. These I repaired. These I repaired. I had this I repaired. I had this one. I did not have a post at all. So this is the one that was giving me the fits. I knew I was going to use the PVC pipe somehow, some way, but I just couldn't figure it out. So finally I drilled through the plastic the same size diameter, or just a little bigger, what the pipe was there, and I ran it down in through all the way. Then I did the same thing with the Sharpie. I marked it on the end, marked it over here, drum sanded it down. I made a little wedge on it. So let me take this tire over here. Same thing, pops on, won't come off. So from a shell that was no good to nobody, this will be fully functionable. So the next step I have to do here is I'm going to build up where these brakes are. If I put the wheel on right now, it'd snap off. So I'm going to use steel stick. I don't have much left. I went back to the store. They were out, so I'm going to try some Gorilla epoxy stick as well. But let's go ahead and burn this down here. This will just beef up those joints. Get that end off. There we go. Mix it up. I'll probably do one on camera and probably finish some of these others off camera, let that dry. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to color match that paint. The fact that these have the hubcaps on them, you won't be able to see it. The General I have has similar issues, but it's white and you don't have the hubcaps, so I'm not sure if I'm going to use this technique and just put like an off-white paint job on it. One of the toy stores said they may have a General shell that has a couple of the tabs left. They'll give me pretty cheap or next to nothing, or maybe we can trade for it or whatever. Then I'll be able to cut all those off and use them accordingly. But this one was giving me a fit like you wouldn't believe. Sometimes when you've never seen a fix before, this is like the most extreme fix I've ever did on a Joe product. You just got to go and work through it. I know Toy Ploy, he'll do a lot of that stuff, and he'll come back when he has it done and he'll show you how to do it. But this one only had the one fix, and that was the one problem I was having. I was trying to attach pipe to what was left of the plastic there, but there wasn't like this little base there. It was snapped clean off. So that was the only solution I had. I'm going to flip this up. So on this one, I'm going to come in through the bottom here. I'm going to fill the gap to hold that pipe in there. Flip it over actually. And that piece snapped off too, so that's another reason I want to beef this up. A little bit more on that. Just make it smooth across, paint it green. Keeps that pipe from wiggling out. There we go. That's a permanent fix on that one. And this one right here, I'm going to put a little down the middle in the bottom wedge there. So let me get a little flat screwdriver. Push that in where the snaps were. I want the top to be pliable. The bottom I want to be strengthened. So just keep working that down in that wedge. Now I know this works because the other General I got 100%, or the other Rolling Thunder I got over there 100% complete. This absolutely worked on. So this is stuff I did before, not out of my wheelhouse. Now I'm going to take the Mr. Cement, or not the Mr. Cement, but I'm going to take the steel stick and I want to build up around the bottoms. Like I say, this is hard to do on camera and get it right, so this will be the one I demo on, and then the rest of them I'm going to do off camera. I'll come back when it's all done. But you got to keep that, you can't protrude out any. You're just trying to beef that up a little bit. And this stuff sets up fairly quick, way quicker than milli put. Alright, well I'll come back when this is done. The steel stick actually set up too quick. I won't be able to use that. It's not pliable no more. This is old anyway, so I'll show you when I'm done with that after it's dried a little bit, and we'll touch up the paint. Go ahead and put the wheels on. Have a solid foundation. Alright, so I got all that put on. This one I just filled in the bottom. This one I filled up the sides, down the middle, sides, down the middle. This one was kind of being a bear, so I filled that one up quite a bit. I'll come back and sand this down a little bit once it dries all the way. That's the one with the half PVC, half original. Filled up the middle just to give it a little bit of something. What I'll probably do is I'll end up putting some super glue up around the tops of these just to give it a little bit more surface space to be glued in. But in the meantime, while I'm waiting for it to dry, the other thing is this is snapped off right here. So I need to make this right here. So I'm going to measure across. It's 1 centimeter at the bottom to about 7 at the top, so it's actually it's 9 at the bottom, 9 to 7. So I'm going to set this aside, let it dry. Get the styrene out. Oh, I'm going to find out how tall it is too. 2 centimeters tall. I don't know how much this really needs this, but the piece was there originally. Why not make it there again? Gives it time to dry. That way I can touch up the paint with this when I touch up the paint on the wheel post. Just come back around, put it in there, let it pull in. Put a little pressure on it, hold it for a second, let it set up. It should melt into the plastic. Something you don't even see when you put those back covers on, but why not fix it if you see it? Alright, I'm going to let all this set up. I'll come back when this is all dry. I'll be touching up the paint, sanding the extra excess off just so it's smooth. Alright, let that set up. Took it out, used the Dremel drum sander, sanded it down. Just want it to be the same diameter what the original was, but now it's beefed up. So now I just got to color match the paint. Go ahead and do that real quick. Alright, I'll let that paint dry. I got a better color match towards the end. I put a little just khaki with the dark green. So I'll come back and touch this up off camera with one more coat. So really the first coat, you're just trying to get close to it. Give it a good base coat. Come back on the second coat. Try to match it even though you barely see any of this. I just like trying to get it as close as I can. Put the wheels on and that'll be the end of this video. Alright, let it dry. Color match the paint better. It's pretty dang close. Both sides. Repair tab up here. Fix post. Go ahead and we're going to start putting these wheels on. Just taking my time, working them on. There's that one. Front post up here. Just take your time. I won't put no more stress on that than I have to. Pushing straight on, not side to side. There it goes. Pain in the butt. That one goes. It was real easy. And the last one was the one I completely rebuilt out of scratch. We have a rolling chassis. So, let's look at the stress test. Some of these, I think the paint kind of built up on there. But very happy with that. Have the repaired part right here. That'll be part 2. Got a rolling chassis, that's the biggest thing. All the wheels are back on it now. Part 3, I'll be reassembling this, and there'll be maybe a part 3, maybe a part 4, depends how far I can get on part 3. Alright, thanks for watching. I know this is a pretty advanced repair here, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do to keep these things going.